It's opening day on the PBA Tour. Every player starts the year believing he can be a champion. For the winners, reality will confirm their dreams. The losers, when their time will come. Last year's champions look to continue where they left off, but their challengers see opening day as the chance to start a new era. Today, it's a new beginning. Anything is possible. It's opening day for the PBA Tour here on ESPN. From Thunderbowl, just minutes from Omaha, Nebraska, ESPN proudly presents live coverage of the PBA Tour. It is opening day, starting the tour's 45th season. 5 bowlers remain, trying to start this year off in style with a win. Valuable tour points and big prize money are on the line. Let's meet our final 5 from the University of Nebraska. By way of Erie, Pennsylvania, making his 3rd TV appearance in search of his first career win, Mike Machuga. His only career win came on opening day 1999. He finished 34th in the PBA World Rankings last season. From Titusville, Florida, Jason Hurd. From Wichita, Kansas, he broke out last season with his first 2 career wins and finished 10th in points, Lonnie Walliczek. From Thousand Oaks, California, he has 4 career wins, including the 2000 U.S. Open, the flame-blowing Robert Smith. The reigning PBA Rookie of the Year. Today he makes his first television appearance from Lockport, New York, near Buffalo. It's Brad Angelo. Our field of 5 is set on opening day. Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Greater Omaha, Nebraska. So glad you could join us. Opening day of the PBA Tour season on ESPN. Dave Ryan, Randy Peterson. Thoughts from Leslie Goodell in a moment. Randy, a player, long time on the tour. You know about the emotions the players are experiencing today.
Well, you know, this is my 23rd year on the tour, Dave, and I can't remember the last time I was this excited about the tour starting. The record crowds this week, all week long, and, you know, it's just for me and the players, it's a pure adrenaline rush of just getting back to competition. This truly is opening day.
Chance for some history today, Randy. 2 players, as we look at the brackets, going for their first ever title.
And the wild card match features hard-throwing Jason Hurd, who will take on the Cornhusker alum Mike Machuga. He was the top qualifier among the round of 8 losers. Brad Angelo, in search of his first win, awaits the winner. A great matchup in the other semifinal. Flamethrower Robert Smith will take on Lonnie Walliczek, who won on the tour twice last year.
Let's go laneside. Leslie Goodell is joining.
Well, you know what, Dave? Nobody was more excited about coming to this venue than Mike Machuga. This is Cornhusker country, and as Randy just mentioned, Mike played both collegiately at Nebraska. You've got several friends here. How do you use home field to your advantage?
I've been fired up for this tournament for 4 months, ever since I found out we were coming here. I just can't wait to put on a show for my buddies.
He just took a deep breath, high-fived all his friends, and he's ready to go. Dave?
Intense was Mike Machuga when he learned that Greater Omaha, Nebraska would be the setting where he bowled collegiately and was an All-American for the Cornhuskers. And, of course, he's got the Nebraska colors today.
And it doesn't take a lot to fire up Mike. You know, you put him in a situation like this, and it's all over. Real high-intensity guy. When he gets it going, he's a lot of fun to watch.
Opening day is underway. The 2003-2004 PBA season here on ESPN. And a perfect shot from Machuga to get things going. From Titusville, Florida, another hard thrower, Jason Hurd. Not what he wanted to start things off.
And something that we didn't see a whole lot of this week, when you got the ball to the edge, the ball bounced back from there. That ball got a little bit too far to the right and wiggled down the lane.
Talked to Jason just a few moments ago before the start of this. For him, seemed very focused. Trying to pick up his spare and does. He covers well on lane 24. Our Baby Ruth real deal matchup. Randy Hurd, Machuga head-to-head in the wild card match.
Yeah, two things stick out to me here, Dave, Brian. One of them is the 5-pin the game higher average for Mike Machuga, and the other thing is a real high spare percentage.
On line 23. Crossing over, comes in high, and he leaves the 10-pin.
Well, the first one got to the edge and didn't hook, so watch what's going to happen here. This one's not even going to get close. That one was just left a third arrow, and this week there was no help in the center part of the lane. If you missed left, the ball went left.
The spare ball picks it up. And a second consecutive mark for Jason Hurd. Back to Machuga. Strike here puts him up 11 pins early. Exactly the kind of start Mike would want. They call him Choose, third year on tour.
Loves to fish, loves to play golf, and worked really hard in the offseason on his game.
Perfect ball.
And early on, Dave Ryan, it looks like if you can go a little bit straighter, it's going to work out a lot better for you. Jason Hurd's reaction doesn't look very good, but Mike Machuga goes a little bit straighter, a little more direct, and he's got a double.
New rule this year on the PBA Tour. Highest qualifier who lost in the round of 8. We knew, because he was second to Brian Voss in qualifying after the 18 qualifying games, that he in fact would be the wild card when the final 8 was determined. He had the highest qualifying scores, and he's had a great start here with 3 straight strikes.
Yeah, and David puts more emphasis on qualifying, and it rewards consistency. Last year, if you were the #1 seed, it really didn't mean anything. This year, it could be a trip to the wild card match, and that's how Mike Machuga got here.
A lot of revs from Jason Hurd, and he caught the pocket nicely. First strike of the day for him. Lives on the Space Coast of Florida. Not far from Orlando, on the Atlantic coast, not far from you.
You know, some days I kind of feel like I'm from the Space Coast.
Spoke of Machuga being a fisherman. Same for Jason Hurd. Really into it, as are you. Deep sea variety struck here, and he's down 11. But he can't manage it.
You know, the one thing that I remember from last season about Jason Hurd, watching him on television, is it just never looked like he had a very good ball reaction on TV day. And it looks like that's kind of happening now. Finally got 2 balls to the pocket. That one was just a little bit high, leaving the 4-pin.
Single pin conversion numbers for Hurd. 4-pin, had to hurry and does.
Jason is one of the few players that hooks it at spares with the exception of his 10 pins. He feels more comfortable throwing the big hook, and you know what? He's pretty successful at it.
Four-bagger here from Machuga gives him a 31-pin lead early. He would be in the driver's seat for sure. Nice look lane side at it.
In talking with Mike this week, he really talked about the experiences and the conversations that he's had with Norm Duke and Brian Voss. The three of them, they're kind of like the three amigos. They hang out a lot. And last year, Mike Machuga just listened. This year, he applied it.
Near perfect this week. Single pin conversion numbers. Trying to pick up the 4 here. Unlike Jason Hurd, using the spare ball right at it with no hook. The last couple of weeks, Machuga telling us 6 to 12 hours a day practicing. Working very hard for this very moment. And what a great opportunity for the 5 bowlers here to earn the exemption already for next year. An incredible start for the winner today.
Yeah, and don't kid yourself. It's been on every player's mind. Some will tell you, well, it's in the back of my mind. Some players tell you that, yeah, I thought about it all week long, a month before we came out on tour, right when we heard about it. But I guarantee everybody's thinking about it.
strike streak over, but he finds the pocket again. Mike's fifth frame, 4 to 5 strikes, Randy.
Excuse me, Dave. Mike Machuga is going at a 279 pace. He's got a 20-pin lead, and this is just a beautiful shot. I crossed with Mike in the second round of qualifying, and he did a lot of that.
Back to Jason Hurd. Double wood. 2 in the 9. Not easy to pick up.
Well, you know, again, it's that same look. He gets the ball down the lane, and instead of going left, it just wiggles. It's not finding enough friction, and I'm not sure if it's a bad ball choice or if it's just a bad shot out of his hand.
8 made that, and he leaves it. So an open frame for Hurd on lane 24. And the way Machuga has been bowling, that could be very damaging.
That ball just never got to the 2-8. You know, when you have this much friction, you want to get the ball to hook into the 2-8. And for Jason Hurd to not cover that spare by the ball hooking into it is very rare. That's a good one.
He knew it on release. Second strike of this wild card match for Jason Hurd. Machuga has a big lead. When we return, a chance for him to take a 43-pin lead with a strike. He's struck 4 or 5 frames so far and is in control, especially after Hurd had himself the open frame. We'll see how damaging that is when we return. Opening day of the PBA Tour season from Omaha. Today's exclusive live coverage of the PBA's opening day Banquet Open is brought to you by Banquet, Bank on Banquet. By Dexter, bowling, golf, and casual. We have the right shoe for you. And by the official candy bar of the PBA, Baby Ruth from Nestle, the real deal. Heartland of America Park, just about 15 minutes from where we are on Route I-80. Very close to Omaha, Nebraska, and Mike Machuga could start this wild card match with Jason Hurd. So we talked earlier, Randy, about the drama and the pressure the bowlers like yourself will be facing all year long. New rules next year, exempt field, a lot of pressure.
All exempt field. You know, this week was a 128-man field. Next year, the fields will be limited to the top 64. And there are only a couple of ways for you to get there. The top 50 point getters from this year, plus any winners, will be plugged into the top 50 spots. The other 14 remaining spots will be filled through basically a Q school and other weekly exemptions.
Early, we're seeing in the wild card match with Machuga and Hurd how lane pattern E is coming to effect. 35 feet, and perhaps some gutter balls we might see today as well.
We saw a lot of gutter balls this week. The only player on our telecast to not throw it in the gutter, Jason Hurd. Pattern E, which means friction because it's a short pattern, you got to get the ball to the right near the channel. Last year, pattern E, if you got it there early, it ricocheted. It looked like somebody kicked the ball left. But this year it's been modified. A little bit more oil outside. We already saw Jason Hurd's ball wiggle when it got to that spot. You get it too far right, it goes right in.
More on that. Check out the very latest. PBA.com. Log on for information on the PBA Tour, including live audio and video coverage of the rounds of 16 and 8 replays of the ESPN telecast every Monday as well. PBA.com. Machuga, hot start. Reflecting a lot, he tells us, on prior TV experience. In the pocket again. When he finished second to Walter Ray Williams Jr. outside Cincinnati back in 2001. Watched a lot of that tape. Says he learned a lot as well.
Look at his eyes focused on the target. The follow-through going right at his target, and watch the reaction. You know, a player knows when the ball leaves his hand whether it's going to be good or not. The only thing we can't control is pin carry, obviously. And Mike knew that was good when it left his hand.
Just his third TV show. Last time, Wyoming, Michigan near Grand Rapids. The Banquet Classic last year. Leaves a 10-pin now. Lost to Tommy Baker, 223, 175. That was just about a year ago. Could have taken a 53-pin lead with a strike there. Now a 42-pin advantage, trying to pick up the 10 for a mark.
And with the spare here, he'll be going at a 228 pace. Right now, Jason Hurd, 186. But Jason Hurd has a strike up in the 6th frame. And with 2 strikes in the 7th and the 8th, he can start putting some pressure on Mike Machuga.
The score as it stands, wild card match. Hurd the unorthodox approach. Slightly off the pocket again, and the 2-pin stance. We saw him in Syosset, Long Island, Randy, last season. We talked a lot about that little herky-jerky step movement he takes just prior to release on the approach.
Well, Jason's probably got the shortest pivot step in all of professional bowling. His 4th step is like almost a half a step. But what that does is it puts him in the late timing and helps him to create all that power.
Top of the broadcast, we talked about what was on the line. Valuable tour points and, of course, prize money. $40,000 to the winner. The runner-up today gets $20,000. More important, perhaps, is that exemption. Taking the pressure off yourself for next year to be one of the 64. To be able to do that on opening day, I think, would be an incredible relief. Solid 10-pin. The March to the World Championship begins today. We will end it in Ypsilanti, Michigan, on the Eastern Michigan University campus, not far from Detroit. Arena setting. Should be very exciting in March. Those are the points that lead us there. Spare ball that time for Jason Hurd. Goes straight at the 10-pin. Jason's had a great week. Knocked off the Player of the Year last season, Walter A. Williams Jr. The round of 16. They're all best of 7 now. That was a 4-1 score. Big lead, Mike Machuga. Stretches it.
Catches the Wally, the light break to maintain his lead on Jason Hurd. This ball is going to get into what we call the swish zone, or half pocket, light hit. This is why you put power and revolutions on a bowling ball. You see, Mike Machuga is getting the ball back from that spot. Jason Hurd is not. And you would think, if anything, it would be absolutely the opposite.
Back-to-back banquet shows. We talked about last year. It was in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Wyoming, just outside Grand Rapids.
Mike Machuga with a 43-pin lead can increase it to 53 with a strike here. If he strikes out 9th and 10th, he'll shoot 258. The best Jason Hurd can do, 205.
Comes in a bit high.
And that's okay because he just left the 4-pin. The 4-9, now you're talking about possibility of an open frame. The 4-pin, relatively easy spare for Mike Machuga. All he needs to do now is fill frames with marks, and he will advance.
Pete Weber, Dave Osio, the role models for Mike Machuga. Growing up through the ranks, Erie, Pennsylvania. He is well-traveled, as we mentioned, spending some time here at Nebraska as well as a student. And a great bowler. Back to Hurd, who does find the pocket, but is it too late?
Well, it is too late unless Mike Machuga fouls or double gutters in the 10th frame, and that's not going to happen. But I think the one thing that Jason Hurd's going to take from this week is, number one, great start to that all-exempt, getting those points for that all-exempt field for next year. But number two, Jason is now a free agent, and this is his first tournament with brand new equipment.
7th career TV appearance. His TV record will drop to 2-7. Semifinal number 1, a great matchup for you here on opening day. Robert Smith, the flamethrower. Talk about rev rate with him. And Lonnie Walliczek, a 2-time winner on tour last year. His first ever titles came last season. Robert Smith telling us he wants to bounce back after, for him, a very disappointing season last year.
This match is officially over. Mike Machuga will advance. For Jason Hurd, it's a nice week. Look at that cow spare ball. That is so cool.
Great week for Jason Hurd. With wins over Mike Devaney, Walter A. Williams Jr., Brian Smith in match play in those best of 7 matchups. So Machuga will take on Angelo in the next round in the semifinals. Brad, the Rookie of the Year last year. TV debut for him, and like Machuga, going for that first ever championship. And now, an exemption as well on the line. Gotta feel good if you're Mike Machuga. Performing in front of a lot of friends. He's got the Nebraska colors on. We mentioned he was a Husker. Lincoln is about 50 miles from where we are here in Greater Omaha. Everyone in these parts, Randy, is a Cornhusker fan. No question about it. And a former Husker, a hometown hero, has come back to get a victory in the wild card match.
Yeah, not a good place to wear an Oklahoma Sooner hat, but Mike Machuga did what he had to do. He stayed clean, he hit the pocket, and he bowled a very clean game.
What a great moment for Mike Machuga. When we return, we'll tell you about some bowling at Madison Square Garden back in the 70s, and also talk about the late, great Don Johnson, who tragically left us this past summer. Lonnie Walliczek had a great season a year ago with his first 2 victories. He's in one semi, head-to-head with a flamethrower, Robert Smith. It's coming your way next. On opening day back in 1972, the BPA US Open took place in New York City, Madison Square Garden, featuring 4 future PBA Hall of Famers: Earl Anthony, Johnny Petraglia, George Pappas, and Don Johnson. Legendary broadcaster Howard Cosell was on hand as well. Don Johnson qualified as a tournament leader and would defeat George Pappas for the title. The win would propel Johnson to his 2nd consecutive PBA Player of the Year award. Great memories from 1972 in the Big Apple.
There's PBA champion Jimmy Johnson, Don's son. You know, the world lost Don this year when he passed away in early May. He was a 26-time titleist and a Hall of Famer. He was my coach and my friend, and we will miss him.
And legend Don Johnson will be dearly missed, no question. Opening day continuing here in Greater Omaha at the Banquet Open. Leslie Goodell lane side again with Lonnie Walliczek.
Dave, when it comes to the physical grind of the season, no one is more prepared for it than Lonnie Walliczek. He adheres to a very strict workout schedule, and last year you saw the results in consistency week in and week out. How do you take the physical parts of your game and apply it to something like today?
Well, when I go home and even when I'm on the road, I try to treat this thing like the sport it is. Do a lot of balance work, a lot of core work, a lot of stuff that's really specific to the demands of our sport.
And of course today will be a bit demanding. Thank you, Lonnie.
32-year-old Lonnie Walliczek from Wichita. In addition to the physical training that he and Leslie talked about, Randy, a moment ago, also into mental focus. That's a big part of his game. Have you worked with a sports psychologist on mental training?
A little bit, but not as much as Lonnie has. Lonnie's really gotten in touch with the mental and physical aspects. He got his body in bowling shape. I mean, there's certain muscles that you use in our sport that you don't use in other sports, and that's what him and his trainer have really isolated. And not only that, but, you know, he started feeling physically better, and mentally that helped him to get better.
Comes in a bit high. This first ball of this opening day. You remember the nerves of your first ball, I'm sure. First show of the year. What's it like?
Well, trying to get those first 2 balls out of the way, or those first 2 frames out of the way without hurting yourself was the biggest thing. But after that, you get your feet underneath you, you get really focused in as to what you're trying to do, and then the nerves just kind of go away.
It's a nice spin.
And that, my friend, the 3-6-9-10 is probably, without question, the hardest non-split spare conversion on our tour.
Why is that?
Because the lane conditions are so difficult. Getting the ball to the right to get it to hook back into that. If you get it too far right, it falls in the channel. A little bit too far to the left, you miss it, or you chop it to the left side.
We are on pattern E. A short 35-foot pattern we talked about. More on that, log on, PBA.com. Here's Robert Smith. Rev rate. Does he ever crank it down the lane? Leaves a 10-pin. He throws as fast as anyone on the PBA Tour.
You know, we'll see Robert in the Dexter piece that we're going to do, but, you know, when you think of Robert Smith, you think of a lot of power, a lot of ball speed. His nickname, Maximum Bob, and it really it really kind of tells you exactly what this guy's game is all about.
Folks, you're not watching this at sped up tape speed. That is actually how Robert Smith lets it go. The Baby Ruth real deal. The matchup between Walliczek and Robert Smith, Randy.
And here's the most intriguing thing right here. A guy with all that power and all that striking ability, he's got the lowest average of our 5 players today.
Can throw a ball 34 miles an hour. He's been clocked that fast. As many as 27 revs per shot. Extraordinary rev rate. Robert Smith hustles back into the pocket. And 10 more down to the pit for Smith.
You know, Robert can actually take a multicolor ball and make it become one color down the lane. Take a look at this. It gets to revving so hard that the colors actually blend. But you know, if you register or if you do the math with his 27 revolutions down the lane in 60 feet, it comes out to about a 520 rev rate. 520 RPM.
Brooklyn strike. Lonnie Walliczek crossing over the head pin. He'll take that break as the 5 is late to go down. We're coming here from the Banquet Open. Opening day. PBA Tour season here on ESPN. Semifinal between Walliczek and Smith. Mike Machuga already has advanced. He'll take on Brad Angelo, Rookie of the Year from last season. Dave Ryan, Randy Peterson, Leslie Goodell, Laneside. Our entire crew so glad and proud to begin this new PBA season. The intensity and excitement of opening day felt with the players and the fans who came in early in Greater Omaha. Get a good seat. A little high. Take it.
That was high flush, and the reason why it's high flush is because the ball stops to travel in the direction once it grabs friction. Now watch this ball. It's going to go to the right. The lawn has got some kind of hand. You see the ball start to go left, and then it stops right as it gets to the 1-3. What that means is the ball is actually losing energy, and it stops traveling in direction of rotation.
Saw Lonnie taking some notes. Exactly what the ball reaction is, what his results were on each lane as things develop. Big rev rate, big power from Smith on that strike. Niners and Seahawks with Terrell Owens, NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite, 7:30 Eastern Time. It all gets underway and kickoff from Seattle, 8:30 Eastern here on ESPN tonight. Also available nationwide on ESPN HD. It all starts with Prime Time, presented by Miller Lite, 7:30 Eastern Time. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Big one in the NFL, NFC, AFC, head-to-head tonight. Back to Smith. Another.
And just beautiful to watch. And one of the things that Robert Smith worked on during the break was trying to get the ball out of his hand cleaner and sooner. These pins have absolutely no chance against a 16-pound ball hitting them that hard. Robert Smith's working on getting the ball out of his hand faster so that the ball will read the lane condition much cleaner.
Back to Lonnie Walliczek on lane 24.
This match is all tied, Dave Ryan. You can see that Lonnie Walliczek and Robert Smith are able to get the ball back from the same spot that Jason Hurd had trouble getting it back from.
Great summer for Lonnie and his wife, Amy. In addition to their daughter, another son was born over the summer. So a new baby in the family. The same goes for the Angelo family. A lot of babies to talk about in this show in our final 5.
Everybody's having babies.
Walliczek looking for a late trip. Will not get it on the form.
You know, you watch Lonnie's ball, it's a little bit closer to the edge than Robert Smith's is. And Lonnie told me that he threw 10 gutter balls this week. Something to watch for as the match progresses. The spare here, he'll be trailing by 1 pin. Has not missed a single pin spare.
Continues the perfection.
Uses that Cambridge spare ball that's made out of plastic that will not hit.
Now it's back to the powerful Robert Smith. Chance for an 11-pin lead with a strike. This would be a 4-bagger. You see the concentration on the face of Walliczek. That goes back to the mental focus we talked about.
He's a real visual kind of guy. You know, he has to see the picture, and if he can see the picture, then he can get his body to perform the action.
Smith brings it in again to the pocket with such incredible pace.
And you know this is really sick to watch. This ball, with all that power and all the accuracy that Robert Smith, I think his game looks better than ever, and just pures this one off his hand. And it's just like a vortex sucking the pins back into the pit.
Randy, we talked about the high speed of Robert Smith, 34 miles an hour, 27 revs per shot. The average on tour, 18 miles an hour. To put the numbers in perspective, 16 revs per shot. So he has got it cranking.
Well, he's all the way at the other end of the spectrum, there's no doubt.
High flush strike. Smith will gladly take it in the emotions of opening day. Coming to the forefront here in Greater Omaha at the Banquet Open, beginning our PBA Tour season on ESPN. When we come back, the conclusion of this exciting semifinal match. Who advances to the final? Smith or Walliczek? We'll find out. Lonnie Walliczek, Robert Smith head-to-head in one semifinal match. Smith an 11-pin lead and a 4-bagger. 1 of 5 strikes through the first. 5 frames for Smith.
Dexter approach starring Robert Smith. Maximum Bob, one of the biggest power balls on the tour, and I'm going to show you what he does to get there. Check out this grip. The ring finger is actually a conventional grip, unlike the middle finger. He did that to cut down on his rev rate. Yeah, that's right, reduced power. This is where he gets it. The bent elbow and the cupped wrist. That combination is going to equal a bunch of revolutions. He just uncoils at the bottom of the swing right there. It's like throwing a yo-yo off the end of his hand. You hear about your friends telling you you're dropping your shoulder? Well, look at that. Robert Smith drops his right shoulder to project the ball to the right.
This week's Dexter approach on opening day on Thunderbowl near Omaha, Nebraska. Lonnie Walliczek bowled collegiately at Wichita State. His father started the program there. His dad coached Fort Vatican, who eventually went on to coach Lonnie at the collegiate level. Very strong program there. And a strong ball on lane 24 for Lonnie Walliczek. There's Amy. This year, the family traveling in the motorhome, I understand.
They've got a motorhome that they were loaned by Cambridge Credit, which Lonnie's on their team, and they get to have this beautiful, you got to see this, it's a beautiful motorhome.
I saw it outside
7
this
weeks,
morning, yeah.
And he's got the whole family. He said he loves it. You know, Lonnie said it's really good for me because I'm usually running late, and all I have to do now is walk to the bowling center.
Had some help from our Tim Chris, who works for us on our ESPN broadcast in the production truck in terms of getting acclimated. There's a nice ball on lane 23 to the motorhome life. And just getting that relationship established for his kids with the other kids on tour travel.
Yeah, and Lonnie said he's about as mechanically inclined as his bowling ball, but watch the work of this ball here. It's perfect in the 1-3. And he looks like he was a bit surprised, like maybe he got it in, but Lonnie's got that little rollout shot working, and that ball stopped perfectly in time to flush the 1-3 pocket.
7 frame, 21-pin lead now for Smith for the big strike. Today at ABC, 3 o'clock Eastern Time, noon on the West Coast, the PGA's U.S. Open champion Jim Furyk, Phil Mickelson, and Sergio Garcia among the headliners of the field of the Las Vegas Invitational. Catch final on action today, 3 o'clock Eastern Time. Here's leaderboard. Appleby, 28 under par.
Low rounds, low scores, but remember, it's a 5-round tournament. Robert Smith working on 6 in a row. Can increase his lead to 21.
7-bagger, Robert Smith.
Robert Smith, Dave Ryan, is puring every shot. He's posting the shot at the fouling. Watch the balance right here. He worked with Chris Schlimmer all summer. And watch this ball. Robert Smith doing what he does best, just throwing wood.
Walliczek, the 2-time All-American at Wichita State. 91 and 92. Talked about his father, Paul, who helped start that shocker bowling program. Came in high there, and the 9 is up.
Nice break, tripping the 4 out and only leaving the 9. Unfortunately, Lonnie really needed a strike there. Robert Smith's going at a 290 pace. The only frame he's missed in is the first, He's got 7 consecutive strikes. If Lonnie would have struck out, he would have shot 269. Right now, with a spare here, the best Lonnie can shoot, 248.
So a chance to come close for Smith to a 300 game. Lonnie had one of those in the round of 16 victory over Steve Hoskins, where in the first game he won 300 to 217 over Steve. But he's not been as pure as Smith has been in this semifinal matchup. Through 8 frames. Walliczek, a 248 max right now.
And this is, or I think is, as good lane. He should strike here to set the foundation for the 10th frame.
Whoa! We talked about pattern E and all the gutter balls this week, Randy. 10 for Walliczek leading up to the TV show, and he, at a critical time, finds the channel.
It looks like he just missed it, a pinch off of his hand, and when you do that on this pattern this year, going right, it goes in.
You could hear a pin drop in this place right now.
And this match is pretty much history because of that shot there.
How in the world do you rebound mentally? And we talked about how much focus he's into after a shot like that. Had to step back. Came in high. And only 7 knockdown for Lonnie.
Well, it's unfortunate timing for Lonnie Walliczek, who still had a chance in the match. This match is history. Robert Smith in the driving seat, in the driver's seat. 4 more strikes, he shoots 290. Best Lonnie Walliczek can do is 215. And here comes Maximum Bob.
8-bagger. Is he ever hot? Robert Smith is en route to the finals. They take on the winner of this one, Brad Angelo, last year's Rookie of the Year, and Machuga. Neither have won a PBA title. Something's got to give.
You know, Robert Smith's a really nice guy, and I think the biggest thing is he's just so much fun to watch. You know, the crowd loves watching that big hook ball and all that power, and him just throwing pins all over the place.
Robert Smith has made some history with how hard he throws the ball. Coming up in a few moments on our broadcast, we'll talk about more history of Walter Ray Williams Jr., who did not make our TV show. But what a season he had last year. Record-setting in so many categories. He lost to Jason Hurd in this event in Greater Omaha. We are fast-tracking here to get to the end of the match since it is mathematically over. Smith has taken this semi. And a good week wraps up for Lonnie Walliczek.
Tough to beat. Nice
For new Robert Smith, got a new look with a haircut, lost about 15 pounds, put on some muscle. Says he really was intense in the off-season, getting himself in perfect bowling shape. This is the start he wanted. Whoa! How fast was that one, Dave? Incredible. How fast is that going? We got to get the gun on that.
Another great week for Lonnie Walliczek, who just showed everybody that last year was no fluke in winning 2 times.
Robert Smith, 269-202 winner in this semifinal. Either Angelo or Machuga to oppose Robert Smith. Lonnie Walliczek could not get it done. Some mistakes, and the gutter ball did him in. Smith near perfect. Today's exclusive live coverage of the PBA's opening day Banquet Open is brought to you by Banquet, Bank on Banquet. By Dexter, bowling, golf, and casual. We have the right shoe for you. And by the official candy bar of the PBA, Baby Ruth from Nestle, the real deal. ConAgra campus, very close to where we are here at Thunderbowl near Omaha, Nebraska. What an unbelievable season for Walter Ray Williams Jr. last year. Player of the Year for good reason with 3 titles, and he set a record in terms of the winnings as well. Certainly deserving of this week's Miller Milestones. Walter Ray Williams Jr.
He's your winner.
For the fourth time in his incredible career, is a major champion. Talk about a milestone. Last season, every time Walter Ray Williams Jr. turned around, he found himself running into a championship match. Not only did he have the best year in his career, but it was the best season in the PBA's history. He won his record-tying 6th Player of the Year award. He became the first to pass the $3 million mark in career earnings. He has the most TV appearances with an incredible 141, and claimed his 5th career major victory, winning last year's World Championship in Michigan. Many bowling fans say Walter Ray is the best of all time, even better than the great Earl Anthony. What does Walter Ray Williams Jr. think about that?
I'm very flattered to be considered the greatest, but I don't think I am. Earl Anthony's record by far outdistanced mine. He only bowled 14 years on tour. This is my 21st year on tour. I'm very, very, very happy with what I've done over the years, but I'll take second or third.
Miller Milestones, and come on, Walter Ray, still an incredible career he's compiled. Yes, he has had more events, but look at the TV appearances. 141, 6-time Player of the Year, and he's very close to equaling the great Earl Anthony's 41 career titles. Although Walter Ray says maybe it won't happen this year, maybe a couple years it'll take him. When we come back, much more exciting action from the season opener. It's opening day in Greater Omaha. Brad Angelo, last year's Rookie of the Year in one semifinal. He and Machuga go head-to-head when we return. The PBA's opening day in 1986 was the AC Delco Classic, this time with broadcaster Al Michaels watching. Our own Randy Peterson found the winner's circle for the first time in his career. Qualifying 5th, he would defeat 4 players, including 2 Hall of Famers, Walter Ray Williams Jr. and Wayne Webb, en route to the title. In the final match, Randy beat Dennis Jakes for the first of his impressive 13 career PBA titles. Our very own Randy Peterson, way back when in 1986. Please tell us we're not going to see the haircut on the mustache ever again.
It's amazing what a razor and some braces will do for a man, you know?
An incredible debut, certainly, and the first ever victory for Randy. Also trying to do that is Brad Angelo, joined by Leslie Laneside.
Well, it's just Brad's 2nd year on the tour, but no shortage of experience. 14 years as an amateur, and you told us yesterday that you really drew on that experience for last year when you won Rookie of the Year. How do you draw on what you did this week for today?
Well, last night certainly gained an awful lot of experience, going 7 games against a quality bowler like Brian Goebel, and the way that all happened, the lanes changed so fast, and you know, you got to stay on top of things, so that worked out.
Nice to have your wife here now, too. She flew in this morning.
There she is over there. Everybody give her a round of applause, please. Thank you.
Dave?
Michelle did make it, Leslie, and certainly Brad was glad to see she flew in from just outside Buffalo, Lockport, New York. Leaving behind both Dylan, who's 2.5, and Sierra, 5 months old. And we were talking to her just before the show. She's having that withdrawal from the kids. But happy to be here to support Brad going for a win. Machuga from Erie, Pennsylvania, not far from Buffalo, is going for his first career title as well, and a good start for him.
And as comfortable and confident as Mike Machuga looks, my friend Brad Angelo looks fairly nervous. He's got a lot of sweat on the forehead. But you know what? Brad Angelo is the oldest competitor on the show today, and he's got a lot of experience. However, on the PBA Tour, his first telecast ever.
Last year's top rookie finds the pocket nicely. We know he's nervous, but a great start.
Wow.
Real deal matchup, Randy.
I'm sorry, Dave. The 2 things that stand out, number 1, obviously average, and number 2, a little bit higher spare conversion, which is one of the reasons why Brad Angelo is here. Now, when he needed to last night against Brian Goebel, he threw the last 7 strikes to beat Brian in 7-game match to get here today. So he can bring it, he can throw the quality shots, and he is a quality player. He proved that last year.
On night 23, he's going to be up high and look out. Not what he wanted. Got by Brian Goebel, 259, 237 in the final game last night. Round of 8.
This ball drifts high, goes right through the face. And this spare here, you've got to get the ball to the right side over here of the 3-pin and drive it into the 4-7. The ball will take out the 6.
Won't be easy. Oh! 4 stands.
And again, not real easy, especially on this pattern. A little too far to the right, it goes in the channel. A little too far to the left, he does what he does. He does what he did here, and only getting the 7-pin. Got a little bit soft, looked like he got the ball in a pinch. But again, this type of lane condition, under these type of circumstances, this kind of pressure, I mean, the last thing you want to do is throw it in the gutter.
10-pin for Machuga.
Another quality shot by Mike Machuga. Leaves a ring in 10.
Had a chance to meet with all the guys this morning, Randy, when they were waiting to go through our introduction rehearsal. Of all the bowlers, it seemed Mike Machuga was the loosest, most relaxed, at least at that point, about an hour before showtime.
Well, I'm gonna beg to differ with you. I think it may be a toss-up with him and Robert Smith. Robert Smith looked awfully comfortable in that last match. It showed by the score he shot, but I'm not disagreeing with you. Mike Machuga looks awfully loose too.
Talked about in his wild card match how hard he has worked to get back here. And as the wild card, extra match required to get to the title and exemption for next season. Gets a late trip, 4-pin goes down. Next week, the PBA Tour rolls on to KC for the PBA Greater Kansas City Classic, the Lunar Bowl near Kansas City. The action starts as always at 1 o'clock Eastern Time here on ESPN 10 on the West Coast. Don't miss the best bowlers in the world from Kansas City, the PBA and ESPN. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Great center. We were there last year, Randy, for an early event in our season.
Lunar Bowl, out of this world. Beautiful place.
Patrick Healy Jr. won his first title last year.
Yes, he did.
Machuga and Angelo will try to do the same thing. That is win their first ever championship. One will be through to the finals. Great shot. Brad and his wife in the background.
Brad having
trying to stay loose.
Some issues with his wireless mic.
Right. And he said, could hear him, always remember his first ever TV show. He'd like to remember a victory. So consistent last year, 19 of 21 cashes. He'll fix that mic or actually take it off here.
Well, you know, looking at those numbers, the thing that's most impressive is not the fact that he cashed in 19 of 21 events. It's the fact that he made 18 match plays in 21 events. I mean, that is seriously dominating week in and week out, no matter what type of lane condition they put out. He hits them all.
217 average a year ago. He was 13th ranked on the PBA Tour, and that got him, with the 84% cashes, the Rookie of the Year, but didn't make a TV show along the way. Interesting. Looks high, through the nose, tough split.
The ball doesn't get far enough to the right, and again, we talked about it before. If you get the ball left on this pattern, it's not going to hold line. It's going to go right through the schnoz, just like it does there. Unfortunately for Brad, he pays the ultimate penalty, leaving the 6-7. He's only converted one split this week. But the split that he did convert, I saw it. He converted the 4-7-9 to win his semifinal match. He just made a ball change, Dave Ryan.
He needs it back-to-back open frames. And a big lead for Machuga. 23 pins and counting over Angelo. Lane level look at it. And the ball change pays off.
And a nice shot, too. You know, the worst position to be in on the PBA Tour is the first time you're on television, you have a lousy ball reaction, you've already got 2 open frames, you make a ball change because it's a guess. You're hoping and praying that this is the right move, and then trying to pull off a good shot, and Brad Angelo did just that.
Machuga here with a double, could go up 33 pins. Would be 3 strikes in his first 4 frames in this match. He's got some late help. 10-pin goes down, another strike. Mike Machuga.
Nice shot there. He kicks the 7-10 out late. And one of the things that is making Mike Machuga a great player is look at him post the shot at the foul line. He talked about it with me last night. It's the balance issue at the foul line. When he gets to the bottom of the swing, he can post the shot and make and repeat quality shots.
A third in a row would give him a 43-pin lead. And a stronghold on this semifinal match with Angelo. There's that. More late help.
Oh, little chip for 7-10. When it's coming off your hand clean, you're making good quality shots, you get breaks like that.
Angelo, a very successful amateur bowler. Team USA member in 97 and 98. As you mentioned, 33 years old. And the elder statesman of our final five here today from Omaha. A little bit of a late start in terms of excelling on the professional level. Speaking of pros, Dick and Brenda Stevens, Thunderbowl co-managers, have done an incredible job with our bowlers and our TV crew all week long. Our special thanks go out to them and their entire staff. They have Ryan Randy Peterson, Leslie Goodell Laneside. It is opening day on the PBA Tour here on ESPN. And it's been exciting so far. Plenty of outstanding storylines for us to follow. The winner earns tour exemption for next year. Formats and new pressures for the bowlers, and it's all on their minds without question. They've told us as Angelo leads the 10-pin.
Yeah, with a strike there, he could have cut the lead to 23. Gets the bad break, leaving the ring in 10. He made the right choice, switched to the right ball, and made 3 quality shots. Only has a double to show for it.
On lane 23, 10-pin pickup there for Brad Angelo. We'll show you our days in on the road coming up and the exciting events you can tune into and attend if you're in the area as the PBA Tour gets underway. Here on ESPN, we'll follow it all the way in the march to the World Championship. The 1987 BPAA U.S. Open in Tacoma on opening day was a special one for Del Ballard Jr. He would roll a near perfect 278 in the semifinal match, crushing Ron Bell by 91 pins. He would then take care of Pete Weber in the final match to collect a then PBA record $100,000 first place check. Another great moment in the history of the PBA on opening day. And that's where we are right here in Greater Omaha, Nebraska at Thunderbowl, a Banquet Open in the midst of the semifinal match here. On the road, brought to you by Days Inn. PBA schedules, we talked about Blue Springs, Missouri next week. That's where we are on ESPN. And then Greater Chicagoland. Pepsi Open in Grand Rapids this year. Toledo, Ohio. Weren't there a year ago. We're looking forward to our trip to that area. And in Springfield, Pennsylvania as we return. That's the site of Randy's victory last year. More Days Inn on the road. Latham, New York, side of the Empire State Open. We're in Long Island and 2 events in Connecticut this year. Windsor Locks very close to the airport. Great area of Connecticut. And the Tournament of Champions in Uncasville, the TOC, the first major. All the bowlers, of course, trying to shoot for that. Victory here puts them right in the recent winner category and qualifies them automatically, in addition to the exemption for next season. So a lot on the line with an early victory. 4-bagger attempted here. Machuga is up 44 pins with it. No break this time.
Well, he actually got a good break by tripping the 10 out because he could have left the 210 real easy there, Dave. But, you know, the nice part about it is Mike Machuga is keeping the ball in play. He's not going through the nose, keeping it to the right of the head pin. He's got a relatively easy spare, or I should say real easy spare, just a single pin, 2-pin.
Picks it up. Remember, Machuga is the wild card, where he lost to Lonnie Walliczek 4 games to 3 last night here at Thunderbowl near Omaha. But because he had the top qualifying record in the first 2 qualifying blocks, among the round of 8 losers, he was automatically in. But he knew he was in several days really before. I mean, Friday, right?
Right. When him and Lonnie Walliczek bowled their match, they knew that both guys were in. The loser just had the ball in the wild card bracket. And the winner would be seated in one of the semifinals. So that takes a lot of pressure off you going into that. Now, obviously, you would rather bowl 2 games for the title than 3. So try to avoid the wild card. But if you get in, you get in. Right now, Paul Kaler, our statistician's telling me that Mike Machuga has a 32-pin lead and a possible 248 total.
Back-to-back 2-pin pickups there. David Ellis from Banquet Foods, the senior marketing manager. Our wonderful title sponsor. Thanks to David, his entire staff. Met several of them before the show. Very excited to be involved in PBA again.
And we're glad to have them. Brad Angelo going at a 186 pace. Needs to get something started right here. 7th frame.
Critical time for him. That's a good start.
Mike Machuga's got a big lead, Dave Ryan, but Brad Angelo can really start to factor into the equation by doing that right there. Get some strikes, get your opponent to start thinking something other than what he's thinking about. Put some heat on him.
Working on a strike. A double here puts him down 22 pins. Concentration evident with Angelo. Wow, have a look at it. Perfect.
Ball was just a pinch left, but it held line. They made a great shot here. You see the hand of Brad Angelo. His hand goes around the side of the ball, opens up at the top. Beautiful balance. Look at him posting the shot. He knows he still has a chance. All he needs to do is strike. If he strikes out, he shoots 226. Mike Machuga going at a 218 pace.
After 3 in a row, back-to-back spares for Machuga, and another strike for him. 8th frame, critical considering the run Angelo's making.
And in the 6th and 7th frame, Mike Machuga went light, 2-pin. It was the first 2 balls all day that were light from Mike Machuga. That shot was a light mixer. It struck, which tells me that the oil is now pushing down the lane. We are bowling on a wood surface. There's the switch zone. A little bit of carry down. The players are now adjusting to the change of lane conditions.
Lanes recently, Randy, as we see the semifinal match breakdown through 8. The max score for Machuga, 248, Angelo, 226. Resurfaced recently, the lanes here, a couple months ago. Has that affected things today?
Well, I think the surface here is beautiful. You know, wood lanes certainly more porous than synthetics, and it's a higher friction type of surface. But if you were going to bowl on a wood surface, you'd want to bowl on this one. It's just a beautiful job they did getting the lanes in shape. You know, these bowling balls are so strong and these players are so strong, these lanes take a beating, and wood more so than synthetic.
Several bowlers we talked to like the all wood. 1 up for him, though. Angelo's got those back-to-back strikes in the 7th and 8th frames, trying to make a move. By no means is this over.
And Brad Angelo can now see light. Now, I don't know if it's Mike Machuga getting overly pumped up and actually throwing it harder, or if the lanes are just breaking down to the point where he can't get his ball back. If the oil pushes down the lane, it's going to delay hook.
Another 2-pin. First time we've seen that in the past 4 frames from Machuga, and he picks it up. 6th, 7th, and 9th frames. He left the 2-pin, each time earning the mark. Now a chance for 3 in a row for Angelo. Strike here is down 12.
You know, when a player throws a shot and looks at the lane or looks at the floor, he can't figure out what's going on with the lanes. When he throws a shot and comes back and looks at his hand, he knows he made a bad shot.
Big shot here, Angelo. Oh! 7-pin. The messenger just won't take it out. Narrowly missed.
Since Brad Angelo made the ball change in the 4th frame, he's pured the last 6 shots. This just a bad break. 5-pin doesn't get over to take the 7-pin out. He's running it out because he knows that strike will put him right in the back in the match. He's denied. With a spare here and striking out in the 10th frame, he'll shoot 205. Mike Machuga would have to open in the 10th to give Brad Angelo a chance to win.
First, the pressure remains on Brad to at least pick up the 7-pin. Can't leave this open. Critical ball here to keep the faint hopes alive. He marks there.
You get a rally going, you make the change, you do all the right things, you get a couple strikes in a row, you know you can put heat on your opponent, and then something like that happens, it feels like somebody just hits you right in the gut.
Remember, this is his first ever TV show. You saw how much he was sweating, how nervous he was prior. With the bright lights being on him. All the other matches were not in this arena-type setting. That ball through the nose and high leaves 3 pins. And the lights are brought in here. This is a setup for our TV finals. So it's a much different atmosphere for a player like Angelo who's never experienced it before.
Yeah, it sure is. You know what? And you could see that early on, but he really gathered himself and regrouped. That last shot just never got it far enough to the right. Leaves a 3-6-10. And again, you see why that spare conversion is so difficult, and this match is history.
Mike Machuga, who bowled at Nebraska. Lincoln, just about 50 miles from where we are here in Greater Omaha. Has a lot of friends and family here who saw him bowl in college. He is a Husker through and through. And so far, he has responded to the pressure of bowling as a hometown hero of sorts.
Mike Machuga is going to be bowling for the title against Robert Smith. Robert Smith already in the Tournament of Champions. Mike Machuga needs a win to get into the Tournament of Champions, and he will knock out Kurt Pelon if he wins. Kurt Pelon is on the bubble.
The last player on that victory list to be on the in list now. But a new winner, like Machuga, knocks Pelon out. Not the case with Smith, who won last year in Japan, but not on the American side of the tour. One step closer is Mike Machuga of Erie, Pennsylvania, the former Nebraska All-American. Wearing the Husker colors has come through the wild card of the semifinal match. Now head-to-head with a flamethrower. Robert Smith in the finals coming. It is opening day. The PBA Tour season here on ESPN Live. Coverage continuing from Greater Omaha, Nebraska, and Thunderbowl. NFL players on the gridiron bring some thunder. No question about that. Terrell Owens and the 49ers trying to bounce back. They had some trouble with that team on the sideline there. A little argument going on. Seahawks head-to-head with the Niners. AFC-NFC matchup. It all starts with prime time presented by Miller Lite, 7:30 Eastern Time. Also available on ESPN HD. Kickoff at 8:30. Welcome back, Dave and Randy. Your thoughts so far? A lot of pressure on the bowlers. Mike Machuga, the former Husker, has come through. Robert Smith, also a chance to become the winner here. The first exempt player for next season.
Well, I don't think there's any surprise with Mike Machuga and Robert Smith being in the finals. But I think the thing to watch is, Robert Smith was completely locked in his match, and it looked like Mike Machuga started to lose it towards the end of his match. So it's going to be interesting to see who has the best reaction.
How do we get here? It's a good question.
Oh, yeah, very
championship
good question.
recap. Let's follow what has happened so far.
In our wild card match, it was Mike Machuga taking care of Jason Hurd by the score of 227-192. Jason Hurd just not able to get in rhythm. And in semifinal number 1, it was Robert Smith defeating Lonnie Walliczek by the score of 269-202. Robert Smith just too overpowering. This ball just doing serious damage to the pins. And as you just saw in semifinal number 2, it was Mike Machuga defeating Brad Angelo by the score of 217-181. Brad Angelo looked like he used the wrong ball early, had trouble recovering.
So which bowler will become the first exempt bowler for next season? Perhaps it's Robert Smith, who throws so hard. We look forward to seeing him in the finals, head-to-head with Mike Machuga, who never has won a PBA Tour title in his career. We'll find out. For the first and only time in PBA history, the 1997 season opens with a Tournament of Champions in Reno, Nevada. The championship round featured all lefties, including John the Buzzsaw Gant. Gant was known for his powerful strike ball with knockoff Parker Ball III in semifinal action, before taking on and beating Mike Albee in the championship round. It would be the last of Gant's 4 titles and his sole major victory back in 1997 in Reno, Nevada.
Well, two guys looking for opening day victories, and Robert Smith said yesterday that after last season there was nothing he liked about it. He was plagued by injuries, and I know you're glad to have last year behind you, and you seem to have all the confidence in the world going into today.
Yeah, this year I'm definitely a lot healthier. My back's not hurting as much, and just coming in this year, just being comfortable. I mean, I'm not trying to dwell on things that haven't happened. I'm just worried about what's going on right now, and what I've got to worry about now is making sure I throw 10 good shots against Mike.
Speaking of confidence, Mike Machuga, the hometown guy with lots of fans here in the stands. This is just your third TV appearance, though, and you're playing like you've been here 100 times before. What's the difference?
The first couple times on TV, it was just a matter of getting used to the surroundings and the lights and everything, and now it's just a matter of going about business.
Well, he may have plenty of fans here, but so does Robert Smith. There's a sign over there in the stands they had that said R. Smith, and oh, there they go. And I'm sure they'll be showing that plenty of times during the finals.
And there is the sign that Leslie talked about on the line here today. $40,000 for the champion. The runner-up at $20,000. That's the worst they can do, which is an outstanding start to this PBA season. On opening day, the March to the World Championship in Ypsilanti, Michigan. 25,000 points to the winner. Already 20,000 clinched at least today for both of our bowlers. 4 career titles for Smith, none for Machuga. Robert's been here before. And as he mentioned with Leslie, not happy with last season at all. He's happy with that shot to begin this match.
Well, get your can opener out. Just open up the pocket, because that's what Robert Smith just did with that ball. But, you know, the other thing is not only winning the title and the money and all that stuff's great. But the big thing in my mind, and I think in all the players' mind, is the winner today will be the first exempt player for the 2004-2005 season.
First shot, final match. Machuga comes a little bit high there, and the 4-pin wiggles, but stays up. First time head-to-head for these two bowlers on TV. In fact, neither had faced any of the other competitors amongst the final 5 heading into this afternoon's action. A real deal matchup, Randy.
Again, the average difference there. But, you know, I think Robert Smith really took care of that the last game. He looks like he's going to throw a bunch of strikes. The strike percentage was about the same. Mike Machuga had more spare conversions, which to me translates into when he did miss the pocket, he left something he could make. Robert Smith with all that power, you know what happens when he misses the pocket. It's a big, ugly design.
Pretty solid 10-pin shot there from Machuga, who's waiting for that very slow late Messner, hoping perhaps the 10 would fall. Did not.
Two completely different lines that Mike Machuga and Robert Smith are using. Mike Machuga going much more direct. As you see, the flat 10, that's where the 6 goes around the 10 and kind of lays in the channel or the gutter, whichever one you like. Robert Smith really using the big rainbow shot. You're going to see that in this next shot. Really peeling on. He's got a much higher rev rate, much more power, so he has to circle the lane more unless he takes his hand out of it, reduces his rev rate, and throws it a lot harder. Then he can go straighter.
Robert took home over $14,000, the Japan Cup, 5th place finish for him.
Look out.
Hurrying back, and does. What a great lane level look at it, as it hustled back to the pocket.
Yeah, and the lane level look had me believing this ball was going in the gutter. Look at this thing. Wow. Look at him post the shot. We talked about Mike Machuga posting the shot. Robert Smith has done nothing but post shots all day. Put a frame around that, bottle it, and just repeat it like he's doing right now. See his feet are pointing to the right. That gets his hips open so he can feed this bad boy to the edge.
Here's for 3 in a row, a 21-pin lead. Early, he's got it. The ball goes into the pocket, Randy, so fast it really is like we're watching it in fast motion.
I'm telling you,
amazing.
The ball speed, the revolutions, when it hits the pins, it's really fun to watch. When he gets it going, when he's throwing a lot of strikes, and he's very intimidating. You know, right now, Mike Machuga isn't intimidated by anybody, but, you know, it's hard not to be when you're watching that kind of stuff going on.
So that actually goes through your head. As an opposing bowler. Interesting. Here's Machuga again, lane 24. Yikes.
His first Open in 2 games. It's a 2-8-10. He's looking at his hand, which tells me that he just didn't get out of the ball clean enough. He's trying to go around it more like Robert Smith. He's got to make sure that he gets all of it at the bottom. He did not. Comes in lightly as a 2-8-10.
Was that the intimidation? Perhaps being a little bit thrown off by the fact Smith's throwing the ball so well?
Well, it looked to me like towards the end of the last game, he wasn't comfortable with the line he was playing. And so now he's trying to do what Robert Smith is doing, move in and go around it, which he's capable of doing. However, not near as successfully as Robert Smith. Robert Smith, that's his A game.
Picks up the 2-8 double win, but leaves the 10. Trying to become another wild card champion. Chris Barnes in Dallas. The last time in what is his adopted hometown, as Chris Barnes won there last year. Robert Smith has done it. Latham, New York, near Albany, the state's capital, in 2002. Now they call Chugs down 35 pins. Trying to avoid a heap of trouble here. 10 pin.
And that was a quality shot. You can see what Mike's trying to do. He's trying to get his hand to rotate around the side of the ball so he can open up the lane a little bit more. I crossed with him the second round of qualifying. He went straight to start. As the lanes broke down, he moved in with his feet or left with his feet, moved his target to the right, and really opened up the lane, changing his hand position. So he can do it all. Problem is right now what he's doing isn't working.
Ten pin for Mike Machuga, trying to hold on against Robert Smith, who already has 3 in a row to begin this final match. Looking to earn exemption for next year. Continue his excellence when we return. Opening day, the PBA Tour season here on ESPN. Our live coverage continuing from Banquet Open, the Thunderbowl near Omaha, Nebraska. Robert Smith and Machuga. Smith with 3 straight strikes has an advantage on Machuga in our championship match. Dave Ryan, Randy Peterson, Leslie Goodell, and our entire crew. 2003 WPBA Classic Tour. Women's Pro Billiards coming up next on ESPN. As soon as we finish business live from Greater Omaha. With a 4-bagger. A 45-pin lead, potentially for Robert Smith. On lane 24, the rev rate, the speed, the power. And most importantly for Smith, the accuracy. Once again in the pocket. We return to Thunderbowl next week outside Kansas City and Blue Springs, Missouri. The Greater Kansas City Classic here on ESPN as a PBA Tour continues. Our live coverage 1 o'clock Eastern time, 10 on the West Coast. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Patrick Healy Jr. trying to defend his title. Greater KC Classic. Live coverage of the PBA Tour next weekend. The here and now on the mind of Robert Smith. Right, what a time. Oh, another great ball.
Robert Smith is making these lanes look stupid easy. And it's not because they are, it's because of his talent. He's just going to post just another one of many shots. The ball gets out to about the 3rd board. See you later. At this level, when you get to feeling really good about your swing, it really helps you mentally, and it makes you believe in yourself. It makes you believe that you can't be beat by anyone.
Sugar comes in high again, little through the nose ball, leaves 3. The 5-bagger to begin this final match for Smith may be insurmountable with a hot start.
And we said it at the top of the championship recap. It looked like Mike Machuga was losing his ball reaction, and in fact he has. He doesn't have a strike through 5 frames, Dave Ryan, and right now he's lost. He's fishing.
Open frame in the 3rd, really hurting his chances. Picks up the 3 pins there for a mark. And this is 5th frame. But without question, flamethrower Robert Smith is in the driver's seat.
Right now, Robert Smith has a possible 300. He's perfect through 5. Mike Machuga is shooting 182. If that was me sitting in Robert Smith's seat, I would be thinking about full exemption, another title, how loose my swing's going to be for the rest of the year. Unless Mike Machuga can start doing more of that.
Flush in the pocket from Machuga, the best ball he's had without question in this championship round with Smith. Women's Pro Billiards coming your way next here on ESPN. As soon as we finish up our live coverage. Opening day from Greater Omaha. Thunderbowl has seen some thunder from the right arm of Robert Smith all day long. He has been outstanding, looking for a six-bagger, trying to continue perfection. 10-pin, oh, is solid.
And it's just amazing that one pin can stand when that ball's just crowbarring into the pocket.
Jessica's here rooting on her boyfriend.
Watch how fast the 6-pin goes around the 10. That was slow-mo, and that looked like real speed. All right.
Oh, no.
Misses the 10-pin there.
Feet any faster?
Last night,
open frame.
Excuse me, Dave. Last night, in his match against Doug Kent, he missed 2 single-pin spares that actually cost him games. He went to 7 games with Doug Kent before finally beating him. But it did cost him 2 wins. Machuga does have a strike. However, he still has a commanding 45-pin lead. Just put that behind you and get back to doing what you do best.
After 5 straight strikes to begin this final match on lane 23, he's got another.
That ball just split the 8 and the 9 in half.
That's a big. God, your spare game has been crap lately.
Well, yeah, his spare game has, but when he's throwing as many strikes as he has, he doesn't really need to shoot a whole lot of spares.
So he's upset about the open frame in the 6th. He's got a big lead now.
45 pins. Machuga can cut it to 35 with a strike here in the 7th.
He'll need a lot of that, Randy. Be an incredible rally in this final match. Looking for his first ever title. Chance at a Brooklyn strike, crossing over the head pin, leaves the 6-10.
Mike Machuga moves in front of the ball return to get more angle through the front part of the lane. Still doesn't get the ball to the pocket. And what a lonely place it is for Mike Machuga being where he's at now. No ball reaction, going up against Robert Smith and all that power. It's kind of scary.
Picks up a 6-10. Not happy, certainly, with his effort in this final match. He's bowled so well to get here. He had a big party plan with friends at Nebraska and Lincoln on the campus if he had won this match today and won the title. Still has got a lot to celebrate him.
I mean, it's just so tough to win out here. Not only do you have to be good, but you have to catch breaks. I mean, you have to be very fortunate. And then all you have to do after that is just beat the greatest bowlers in the world, period.
Solid 10-pin, not a bad ball. Despite the open frame in the 6, Smith still in great shape. Ten-pin for Machuga.
Well, this next frame shouldn't take very long with Robert Smith's ball going down the lane at about 22 miles an hour and all the strikes that he's throwing. It's like he's in fast motion, everybody else is in slow motion. At least today.
He is clearly en route to his 5th career championship after wins over Michael Haugen Jr., Pete Weber, and Doug Kent in match play here in Omaha. Best of 7, rounds of 32, 16, and 8. That's the reason.
The pin came flying out of the pin. It's in front of the sweep. The fans on the sidelines. The fans on the sidelines are wearing safety helmets. But take a look at the pins. Watch what this ball does to them. What a great reaction.
56-pin lead now. Clearly in cruise control. Hopes for 3 straight strikes and a 66-pin lead with it. Worked very hard in the offseason. Talked about the new look. Leslie, in her conversation with Robert, spoke about his health. That came in a little bit high. The back feels much better. Hurt himself weightlifting last year. This is a healthy Robert Smith. If this is the person we're going to see Randy on tour this year win for a treat.
You're right, Dave, and he's healthy mentally as well. I mean, he feels much better about what he's doing. Worked with Chris Schlimmer in the offseason to get his game right, and when he got his game right, he got his head right.
Oh, much easier.
And that is it. Robert Smith has taken opening day by storm. He has wrapped up the PBA Banquet Open in Greater Omaha and already has become exempt for next year. He'll win that trophy. Women's Pro Billiards coming your way next year on ESPN. And as soon as we wrap up our live coverage of our championship match, Thunderbowl just outside Omaha, Nebraska. That's a trip on the 7-pin late. Still a good experience for Mike Machuga. He talked with Leslie Randy just before the match about how he's learned so much from his prior TV experiences. Some more learning today for him?
Absolutely. You know, he's bowled in the title match twice in the 3 shows that he's made.
Shoot the 10-pin all day.
But he's learned a lot. He's applying it, and he, I think, is getting better mentally. He's matured out here on the tour. I think that's what's making him better.
We're going to fast-track the end of the match since it has been clinched by Smith. We saw another strike from him. Machuga leaves 3. And already exempt for next season. So a load off of his shoulders without question.
That's big.
Pressure has been eased now for the entire year. What does that mean?
Big. The rest of the year is freewheeling. He's got money in the bank. He's got a full tour exemption for next year. He's freewheeling the rest of the year.
Of the 22 frames for Robert Smith, he has 18 strikes today, Randy. It has been an outstanding effort for both he and Mike Machuga, the former Husker, who bowled collegiately in Lincoln at the University of Nebraska. Had lots of friends in the stands watching, rooting him on for his first ever title. He'll fall short after winning the wild card match over Hurd, the semifinal as well. Robert Smith just too much. You said it a few moments ago. Smith was the most relaxed before we started our day. And he comes through all the way with a victory over Machuga. 244, 187. Robert Smith exempt for next season already. Powerful effort. Dominant. Today's exclusive live coverage of the PBA's opening day Banquet Open is brought to you by Banquet. Bank on Banquet. By Miller High Life, to live simply, proudly, boldly, manly. This is the High Life. And by Cambridge Credit Counseling. Log on to nodebt.com and find out how good it feels to be debt-free. What a day, opening day for Robert Smith at Thunderbowl in Omaha. He takes it by storm, and joined now by Leslie Goodell.
Well, not only his 5th career tour win, but Robert, you've secured your exempt status for next season. What's it like to put this on your resume?
Oh, I didn't even realize that. Well, I tell you what, it's a great thing. I mean, I absolutely, it's nice to know that I'll be around next year for sure, and it's a great start. Definitely gives me a lot of confidence going into the rest of this year, and hopefully I can keep this roll going.
Well, he said to the crowd just a few minutes ago, being a California resident, now he can run for governor. Dave?
I don't think Arnold's in trouble, Leslie. He just got the office after all. What a day for Robert Smith. Let's check in now with the Uniroyal Tire Rock and Roll, Randy, for today.
Here's the biggest shot of the day for Robert Smith. It's the first ball of the title match, and this ball is going to just can open the pocket. He used that to rock and roll his way to the title, Dave.
Shreds the rack. That was a common sight all day long in Greater Omaha for Robert Smith as he takes the title opening day of this PBA Tour season. Congratulations going out to him, our winner here at Thunderbowl. What has been an exciting afternoon of bowling. Be sure to join us again next Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. PBA Greater KC Classic from Lunar Bowl in Blue Springs, Missouri. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Billiards is next on ESPN. Now for the entire crew, my partner Randy Peterson and Leslie Goodell Laneside. It's Dave